The views from Kerr County today are eerily similar to 1 year ago. Floodwater overtaking roadways, uprooting trees, and trapping people in their homes. Kerr County leaders have issued a disaster declaration and say one person has died. We want to bring in Justin Michaels with the Weather Channel. He's in Kerrville right now. Justin, how are things looking there right now?
Water levels, Ashley, are receding. That is very good news. The problem is in the forecast, could we have more rain? I know your meteorologists will be following that very closely because people here in the Hill Country certainly don't need any more, especially now that we're 1 year and 12 days after last year's catastrophic and deadly flood. Looking at what happened here this morning, and you can see the debris line that is still here. This is as high as the water got here in Kerrville, right in Guadalupe Park. But taking a look at the Guadalupe River, and that haunting reminder of how powerful the water is, looking at those cypress trees bent and ripped and stripped and snapped, some of them centuries old, the ones that survived last year's deadly flood, some of them not faring so well with this deadly flood. Looking behind me also, the dam here along the Guadalupe River, still flowing at a very decent clip. Now looking downriver from where we are, of course, the very next town along the river is going to be Comfort. And that is where we saw the highest crest along this river for this flood. Comparatively, looking back at last year, Ashley, where the Guadalupe crested here in Kerrville at 37.5 feet, there it was around 35. Today, 37 feet there in Comfort. So about 2 feet more today than they experienced last year. And what's really shocking, Ashley, is when you look at how fast some of that crest happened. In 1 hour this morning, between 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock this morning Central Time, there was 25 feet of water rise in 1 hour. An extraordinary amount of power coming down because of Mother Nature. The rain that was falling is forecast to continue to fall, and of course filling up these river basins and causing destruction left, right, and center. And now we know it taking at least one life. And Ashley, one more thing, speaking with people in different towns along the Guadalupe River. Of course, the next town down will be Ingram and then Hunt. Hunt is where Camp Mystic is. Camp La Junta is the very next camp that is still open this year, an all-boys camp, whereas Camp Mystic was an all-girls camp. Camp La Junta is an all-boys camp. And I was speaking with people in Hunt earlier today by phone, relationships we've built over the last year, and they heard the startling and jarring screams of those young men as they were trying to escape to safety and higher ground in the early morning hours today. Hauntingly similar to what so many people heard last year as those same camps were trying to evacuate during that flood. Ashley, into you.
Yeah, Justin, that is just so hard to hear and to imagine having that happen again. You know, are you able to tell us about some of the damage that you've seen? Obviously, you've got that debris line behind you, but there's been so many reports and images coming in to show what happens when this water does recede. What's really standing out to you?
Well, just how powerful it is, Ashley. In fact, Austin Anderson behind the lens. Austin, do me a favor. Let's show this Connex over here, one of those large industrial trailers that they throw on the backs of tractor trailers or even trains for intermodal transport. That shouldn't be sitting there. That was shifted. I don't know if it's full, but it's still floated there. And then looking off, you can also see somebody's private property beyond the courts here. Porta potty over there, also damage to the back of that property. In full disclosure, Ashley, we got on scene here in Kerrville just about 10 minutes before we became live here with you on KVUE. And I will tell you, getting here from Del Rio, which is where we are, down there on the Mexican border, a border town, we had a very difficult day getting up here, having to go through 2 different routes and 2 road closures, having to turn back around and find a different route. That happened twice to us because of all the flooding that's happening there in southwest Texas and then up into the Hill Country. Extraordinary amounts of rain has fallen today and continue in the forecast over the next day or so. No more flooding is certainly welcome at all for folks who live in your beautiful state, but I have to believe at least over the next day, could we see more? That's the concerning thing right now, Ashley.
Indeed it is. Weather Channel reporter Justin Michaels, we thank you so much for your time. We hope you and your photographer stay safe out there.